What's up, guys? It's Eric, Underdogs of Addiction. Today's video is actually in reference to a few Ben Affleck videos that I watched. One pertaining to his interview on Howard Stern, as well as I forget the lady's name, but basically where I'm getting at is everyone knows Ben Affleck. Everyone knows his story to success and how him and Matt Damon wrote Good Will Hunting, which is one of my favorite movies. And I feel like Ben Affleck is a perfect person to talk about on Underdogs of Addiction, because he is a kid from Boston. He is from a harder neighborhood, and a lot of people don't know is that Ben Affleck actually had a very challenging childhood, and he talks about it on some of his interviews. In Ben Affleck, he's somebody who is a child of an alcoholic, and in one of his interviews, he talks about how growing up, he just saw his father drink every day and every day and every day, and how that really affected him. And he talks about how he he's famous, obviously, so that's its own dilemma. That alone can make you just want to drink, never having privacy and just being kind of just trapped in the box. And I can only imagine how that feels. But he was talking about like going to AA meetings and all these things, and he was like nothing worked. I had all the money in the world. I can go to any rehab I wanted, and it never worked. And he said something that really stood out to me, and something I really respect. He said, the only cure for addiction that I've found is suffering. And for him, it was the suffering of his children, and bringing back to his old childhood trauma of seeing his father suffering, and how that caused him and his family and his brothers and sisters to suffer. And he said, I didn't want my kids to pay for the sins of myself. And obviously, like, a lot of people know, like, Ben's divorce and stuff like that, and how that really affected him and his family. And I think it was really cool that he was able to open up and be vulnerable and talk about his trauma, and how his trauma is what helping him get sober. His own childhood trauma of seeing his dad, suffer from alcoholism, is what actually allowed him to realize, I have to stop. I think in one of the videos he said something about, I forgot exactly what his daughter said, but she said something to him, and he realized, like, holy shit, like, I gotta stop this. And he's been sober ever since. And I think that's just a beautiful thing. I think people forget that celebrities are just human beings, that are just doing their purpose on this earth. And I think it's a really beautiful thing to see him find his recovery. And I think his story, it's inspired me, and it can inspire a lot of other people as well, because I believe that the root of all addiction is pain and is trauma. And when we can go in and heal those wounds inside ourselves that lead to us wanting to drink, that's when we can really begin to change. And I mean, we've all been huge fans of Ben Affleck. I mean, at least I have. He's easily probably my favorite male actor, but right up there with like Adam Sandler and Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm a huge fan of one of his movies that not a lot of people remember, is Reindeer Games, is one of my favorite movies, and of course Good Will Hunting. Yeah, I just wanted to make this video, for my subscribers too. And I definitely believe Ben Affleck is an underdog of addiction, and I think he's overcame a lot in his life and his career, and a lot of people have criticized him. And he made a beautiful movie a couple years ago called The Way Back, and that actually really inspired me before I went to rehab. And it's a story about a former basketball star who fell into addiction. He works like a really mind-numbing construction job, and his wife, his fiance, or whatever, leaves him. And his old coach, his old athletic director needs an interim coach, and somehow he's able to get back to coaching, and through the coaching he's able to remind himself of who he really is, his true authentic self, and through that he's able to heal his addiction. And that was just a really great movie that I think also a lot of people slept on. So thank you, Ben, for all the great movies, and thank you guys for watching this. I hope you got something out of it. Have a good one.